Hello, I am K-pop World and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about Suga's DUI and I'm going to be talking about Bang PD being caught in Beverly Hills with two girls who were way too young for him. Now Suga's drunk driving incident happened on the 6th of August. This happened after the police found him when he had fallen off the scooter that he was driving and they took him to the police station for further investigation. Suga and Big Hit would go on to apologize to the public and to their fans for the incident, and the problem is that they called the vehicle that Suga was using a kickboard, and it was not a kickboard because it was later revealed that the vehicle that he was actually on was an electric scooter with a seat, and that puts it in a different category when it comes to traffic laws. Now, the reason the two are categorized in different categories despite being very similar is because a kickboard goes a maximum of 25 kilometers per hour, whereas an electric scooter goes a maximum of, give or take, 30 kilometers per hour. Now, Korean fans weren't happy with Big Hit Entertainment or with Suga for lying in their first statements about the vehicle that Suga was using being a kickboard instead of an electric scooter. They went on to accuse Suga and Big Hit Entertainment of trying to downplay the incident and minimize the severity of the situation. In South Korea, you actually need a driver's license to operate both an electric scooter and an electric kickboard. Suga was fined and he had his license revoked and he cannot have it renewed for like a year. Big Hit Entertainment did release a second statement clarifying that it was an electric scooter and that it wasn't a kickboard. They do go on to apologize for relaying the wrong information to the public. Now, as we all know, all the members of BTS are in the military currently, except for Suga, who's not an active duty soldier. He is working as a social service worker, and the Office of Military Manpower Administration did put out a statement saying that they would not further punish Suga because this incident happened outside of working hours. Suga could be facing a criminal investigation similar to that of driving a car under the influence. Suga did have his license revoked and is facing a fine of between 10 million won to 20 million won. So it was initially reported that Suga's blood alcohol levels were at 0.08%, and then it was later on reported again that his alcohol levels were at 0.227%. Now, I'm not sure which one is accurate, and I'm not sure if maybe it's because they tested him the first time and those were the first results, and then they tested him again and the second results were the ones that were way, way higher. To be clear, the legal amount of alcohol you're allowed to have in your system legally is 0.03%. So if you compare that to the 0.08% that Suga had, apparently, allegedly, it's still a lot. Much less the 0.227% allegedly. That is way too high. Now, with the amount of media coverage this whole incident has gotten, it's gotten to a point where fans are asking Suga to leave BTS completely, which I think is a little too much. I mean, one DUI. Don't get me wrong, I'm taking this seriously, but one DUI is not like enough to ask somebody to leave the group. Now, what I have noticed during this whole situation is that there is a clear difference between where both sides of fans stand. The international fans and the Korean fans seem to not be agreeing on a lot of things when it comes to this topic, because the Korean fans seem to be a lot more upset and disappointed at the situation than international fans do. This is from what I've been seeing. I'm not saying it's everyone, but it seems like international fans are making jokes out of this. It seems like they don't really care that this even happened because Suga was able to get home safely and nobody was hurt, which I am glad about because it would be a shame if somebody lost their career over something so stupid. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some of the memes and some of the jokes from the international fan side. I'm not gonna lie, I have giggled and chuckled at a couple of them, but I think if people are gonna make jokes about it, then I would hope that there's part of you that's taking this very, very seriously, because driving drunk is not a joke. I think people really do forget that Suga is a role model for a lot of people be it other idols, be it their fans or just casual listeners. He is a very big public figure and a lot of people look up to him. And to see somebody that you look up to get into like a DUI type of situation and have the fans not really take it seriously, or have one half of the fans not really taking it seriously, it almost makes it seem like driving under the influence is not a big deal. If other idols are able to look at the situation that's going on with Suga right now and think, oh, it's not a big deal if I get caught drunk driving, as long as my fans can make a joke out of it, then I'll be fine. Then we create a situation where anybody can do anything as long as they're a public figure and have the fans who'll make jokes about it and not take it seriously, and we allow it to just slide. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed that Suga was caught driving under the influence, because that really does set a very bad example for a celebrity of his caliber. I think driving drunk is terrible, whether he was driving the kickboard, whether it was the scooter, whether it's a car, because it really doesn't take that big of an impact to hurt other people on the road. It doesn't take that big of a vehicle. You don't need a truck or an SUV to cause a really bad accident. Now, with that being said, I will say I have seen the CCTV footage that JTBC released, and I have seen another video of Suga, I think, arriving to where he was staying. What I will say is the video that JTBC released is the blurriest thing I've ever seen. It's blurrier than a UFO sighting. My gosh. You can barely tell who's who. And they claim that the man on the bike was Suga when it wasn't even him. Honestly, JTBC should be ashamed of themselves for releasing a fake video and claiming that the man on the bike in the video is Suga when really it wasn't even him. A DUI case is already bad enough as is, but it is so terrible that JTBC went out of the way to find a fake video and try to claim that it was Suga on the bike on the road. I really do hope JTBC gets sued for this, because what they did was very low. And the other video is a lot clearer, and I will say I was glad that he was driving on the sidewalk, even though it's probably very dangerous for pedestrians. I think being on the road would be a lot more dangerous for drivers and just pedestrians as well. Let's keep in mind, I am not excusing what Suga did, but I will say him falling off the scooter and the cops being right there was just really, really bad timing. I know everyone's making jokes about it, like Jin sent the cops to be there and all these other conspiracy theories, and I'm like, guys, come on. This man lives in a very rich people area. This is like the celebrities live there. Rich people live there. Of course, there's gonna be police patrolling the whole time. They want to make sure that their high profile citizens are safe at all times. That's just how life is. In any country, that would be the case. And I think it was just really bad timing that Suga fell off the bike when the cops were right behind him. Because in the footage, you can see him driving his scooter and the cops were literally walking right behind him. They weren't even chasing him. He was just walking. He falls off the bike. They try to come help him up. He did bounce up very quickly, but it was too late. You know, it was too late. With that being said, I am glad that he was able to get home safely and that nobody else got hurt, but I don't think it's something that we should be making jokes about or something that we should be taking very lightly. Moving on to something else that will give you chills and not in a good way. Bang PD was spotted in Beverly Hills on a YouTube channel called I Am Walking, and he was captured on footage walking with two very beautiful, very young ladies. Now, these girls that he was with are apparently influencers who make content on a live streaming platform called Africa TV. I think that's what it's called. I have no idea how to pronounce that correctly. Now, it seems one of these influencers participated in a Netflix reality show called The Influencer, and it seems her content is actually very risque, very racy, very sexy. And this is who Bang PD's hanging out with in Beverly Hills. Now, Big Hit Entertainment did try to kind of put a band-aid over the situation. That was a really terrible excuse. They said, this is what they said. They basically said that Bang PD met these girls through, I think, somebody else, and that he was just showing them around because they wanted to know about tourist spots, and he was just making reservations for them at restaurants of his recommendation or something. I don't know. It was just a really bad excuse from Big Hit. They should have just left it as it was, because this is not the first time we've seen Bang PD in a situation where he's with women who were so much younger than him in very compromising situations. not too compromising, but it's those situations where it's like you're trying to fix it, but we already know what's happening, especially considering one of the girls makes the kind of content that she makes. And Bang PD is a guy with a lot of money. Look, I'm not making the suggestions. I'm just giving you the information. You can put 2 and 2 together for yourselves. Honestly, I cannot imagine being a Big Hit Entertainment employee at this time. I just think so much is going on at the same time. So much. I cannot imagine the stress. The PR team is working overtime. I hope they're getting raises. Lastly, we're going to end with something more lighthearted, and that is that Jin just became the ambassador of Gucci. He looks fantastic. Honestly, I think he looks lovely. He just always looks gorgeous. And not only that, but Gucci has made photo cards for him. I don't think they've ever done that for any other K-pop idol, but they did it for him. Now, we all know that the other members of BTS have joined major luxury brands as ambassadors. Hobi with Louis Vuitton, Jungkook with Calvin Klein, so on and so on. And Jin never got to be an ambassador for a luxury brand because he left before all of the solos kind of started. He dropped his solo and then he left. So I think fans were really happy to see him join Gucci and to see Gucci put in an effort for him as well. And I wish him all the best with Gucci. Now, of course, these are all just my opinions, and you are free to share yours with me in the comment section. Please subscribe and like this video so I can keep making more. Until our next dance with K-pop, goodbye.